the way Indian tea is made, it makes it extremely acidic. Impaired gut health can lead to a lot of anxiety, can lead to a lot of induced stress. People are scared of ghee these days, right? If you smoke, if you have caffeine, or if you consume alcohol, remove these. They are poison for you. So, vitamin B12 deficiency is extremely correlated with our gut health. The balanced function of the trillions of microorganisms that are sitting in our gut. Be a cappuccino or like a latte versus try to have just Americano. You feel that your gut has less amount of work to do if you are consuming an Americano. चिंता चिता के समान होती है.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Good Life Guide. Today, we are diving deep into the world of gut health and nutrition with Surbhi Singla, the visionary behind the food assistant app Lavi. We'll explore everything from the root causes of gut issues to practical tips on improving your digestive health. So, let's get started. Hi, Surbhi. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Thiril. Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah. So, firstly, let's talk about Lavi. What kind of made you come up with the idea of a food assisting app?
Yeah. So Lavi is very much influenced by my co-founders' personal journeys. So we are partners in real life also, and we know each other for like last 10 years. And we have seen each other's that entire journey of me dealing with PCOD. I have seen him dealing with his constipation and so on, and trying several things which are available in the market. So Lavi started from that personal journey. So if I talk briefly about the journeys that, so I mean, see, it's not like that these problems are new problems. PCOD has been existing for a very long period of time. People know about it. There are various solutions, doctors, nutritionists available in the market. Same with constipation, gut health issues, although this whole gut health matters kind of a thing has started coming in very recently, but these problems exist. Solutions also exist, right? So we have been trying various kinds of solutions in the market to solve our own problems. And the observation was that either some problems are not working with solving the concerns, or some might be working, but they are pretty good on paper, and then they fail when they go in the kitchen. Right? Because it's very difficult to follow a meal plan. Like I'm not sure if you have followed any meal plan. It's pretty difficult. Like you have to be very consistent with it. You have to follow everything to the T, right? So it's very difficult. So that was where we started, right? So one, we wanted to create something which is true to its essence, like no fluff, nothing, all natural, which really solves the problem. Second, it should work in the kitchen. So that's where we started, that we want to go to that next step and not just help people give the meal plan, but also help them bring plan to plate by supporting them partly in the kitchen, right? So that was where this whole food assistant thing came into picture, which really helps you in dealing with your concerns by personalizing or customizing your plan as per your lifestyle, but at the same time will help you in the kitchen operations. So
Yeah, I mean, that's really great because we know that not one plan fits everyone, right? And that kind of brings me to my next question. What, according to you, is an ideal meal plan?
That's a very good question, and a lot of people ask me this that because I am currently we are not that grand a company for whom there is a huge sales team out there. Although we have sales folks, but I try to take some of the sales call by myself so that I understand what the problems are, what people are asking, so that we can incorporate in our messaging.
Yeah.
So this is a very common question that I get, that ma'am, can I change few things in my diet? Can you give me something on the call itself? So like the simple answer is there is no one size fit all. You also correctly alluded to that. It is very much dependent on your lifestyle, your body type, your nutrition requirements, and so on. So It's very much it very much has to be very individualistic and designed for you as a person, and only then it can work. Otherwise, it's going to fail.
Yeah, absolutely. That brings me to my next question, which is what problems do you see most amongst your customers? What do they come to Lavi for, basically?
Hmm. So our TG is millennials, double incomes, double income household, no time to cook, no time to teach their helps to cook, and so on. So one very big problem which is existing in today's world is high level of stress. Okay, and our like knowingly or unknowingly that heavily impacts our gut health, right? So one is that. Second is sedentary lifestyle. So most of the day, we all of us are sitting everywhere, right? We are sitting in the toilets, we are sitting while we are eating food, we are sitting while we are working, we are sitting while we are watching television. So we are in that posture of sitting like almost 90% of our waking times,
Yeah.
right? So that's another big problem, that how you make people stand and move. Right. So that is another, I would say. The another concern is, of course, I already mentioned busy lifestyle,
Yeah.
right? No time, and they just want quick solutions. And interestingly, like these problems that we deal with, they are all lifestyle problems. They start from poor lifestyle, poor food, and they need that correction. And to correct that, you need to spend some time in the kitchen, you need to spend time in understanding it needs a lifestyle change, it needs some changes in the brain wiring and so on. So time issues is another big problem. Plus everybody is so mobile these days, right? People are traveling. You might be working in Bangalore, but then in the same week, you might be spending 2 days in Bangalore, 2 days in Mumbai, and 2 days in Gurgaon, right? So, like, all of us are so mobile these days that it has become extremely difficult to follow any plan or to follow any regime because of no control on our lifestyle. So these are the, I would say, main concerns with the lifestyle and the space in which we are.
Right, right. And a lot of conversations now are also about these key ingredients, right, that people need to have. And we've also seen that, we've seen, and there is also research that most of the deficiencies that people have are either vitamin D or B12. So, how
Hmm.
does someone fix that? How does someone fix vitamin D and vitamin B12 with their diet?
Interestingly. So interesting thing is that like our users, so when we ask, so we have a very elaborate assessment in the beginning, right? In which we kind of try to understand that are there any deficiencies, any health concerns, and so on, because that is extremely important for us to address those along with their gut health. So for people, it has become such a common thing that the wording is like exact wording of users I am quoting here, that I have no problem. I mean, the usual B12, D and B12 is there, but otherwise I have no other concern. So, see, it has become that common. It
Yeah.
has become that usual, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, now in terms of how you correct these. So vitamin D, with respect to synthesis, right? We get it. It is synthesized by sunlight.
Hmm.
There is no other way for it to synthesize in the body, right? But definitely, it is absorbed in the gut.
Hmm.
And for absorption, what you can do is you can incorporate certain foods which help in improving the that particular nutrient absorption. So for with respect to vitamin D, we suggest people to add healthy fats. People are scared of fats, but then there is a healthy fat and there are unhealthy fats. So look for healthy fats, avocados, nuts, seeds, right? In fact, curd has healthy fat in it. Ghee, people are scared of ghee these days, right? So, in fact, ghee has it is such heavy on saturated fat, but it is pretty healthy the way our body break it down, right? So healthy fat helps in absorption of vitamin D. Coming to vitamin B12. So vitamin B12 deficiency is extremely correlated with our gut health because it is synthesized in the gut. It's the breakdown of it, the production of it is happening in the gut, right? So there is no food that you eat to produce it, but there are foods you incorporate to improve your gut health, which is going to ultimately produce it. So, incorporate foods which help you in your gut health improvement. So, probiotics, prebiotics, high fiber diets, fresh fruits, fermented foods. So, have a regular consumption of these eggs, fish, like good proteins, basically lean protein. So, have a good consumption of these so that you maintain your gut health. And if the gut health is maintained, then B12 is synthesized. So that's how anybody should be going about these two nutrients.
Got it. I think also with the sedentary lifestyle, like you mentioned, there are a lot of cases of people having acidity because they do not eat on time or they do not, pay that much attention to their meals. So there are a lot of problems of acidity or bloating that people feel after they've eaten or if they've not eaten. So how does one fix their meals to kind of get rid of these things?
Hmm. So the way I would encourage anybody who has acidity bloating to go about is like look at their gut health.
Hmm.
Because the problems that you have mentioned, right? Acidity, bloating, these are gut health problems. These are metabolic concerns. In simple words, they are related to indigestion. If you are facing acid reflux, if you're facing bloating, gassiness, etc. in you, that means the digestion is not happening properly. So fix the digestion, then these problems will be fixed. Now, in order to fix these problems, like fix the problems with respect to your digestion, look at your meal plates because see, lifestyle disorders cannot be solved but without correcting your lifestyle
Got it.
and food. So you fix the food and then your problems will be fixed. So with respect to fixing the food, make sure that you are having like very like basically regular consumption of probiotics as well as prebiotics so that you are maintaining that gut flora in your body. You are also consuming if you have like if you're prone to acidity, consume foods which relieve you from acidity, like don't go for pantacids and so on. Rather there are good foods that you can incorporate, for example banana, for that matter, right? Very good acid relieving fruit, if that suits you, because everybody's body is different. It may or may not suit everybody, right? So incorporate those foods. Then make sure that you are not consuming a lot of caffeine. So tea, coffee, people consume tea first thing in the morning. And like we at Lavi don't ask people to leave tea altogether because like that sometimes feel that it is like intruding in their life. So what we suggest is that don't have it first thing in the morning. You can have 1 cup in a day, but try to have it after your breakfast,
Okay.
right? If that helps, and try to restrict to 1 cup. And if you can, then don't consume the Indian tea, the regular Indian tea. Try to have concoction.
Okay.
So basically, the dip teas or boil the water, then add some like leaves, like green tea leaves or some tea leaves to it, and like have like let it boil for some time. Then, if you want to add milk, you add milk on top of it, right? So don't make it the way because the way Indian tea is made, it makes it extremely acidic in nature,
Okay.
and our gut wants alkaline environment. It needs a pH above 7. But because of this first thing in the morning, which is tea, coffee, it makes our guts very acidic. So reduce that. Smoking, alcohol. If you can restrict it as much as possible, restrict it. So like these lifestyle changes go a very, very long way if you start incorporating them slowly in your lifestyle.
Got it, got it. I mean, tea is like an integral part of any Indian's routine. Like even at work, you take a break, you take a tea break, you go have
Yes.
tea. So it is not sustainable in the longer run to avoid it completely. But like you said, there are alternatives that you can go for and that you could choose. So that's great. Now coming to the most basic kind of question. Hippocrates in his very famous quote said that all disease begin in the gut. I want you to explain in very simple terms what is gut health and what problems occur due to an unhealthy gut.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, I think very important question, I would say. So gut health basically means balanced digestion. Okay. Particularly the balanced function of the trillions of microorganisms that are sitting in our gut. So these bacteria, which is present in our gut, they play a very, very critical role. I would say the most important role in our body. They are responsible for making our body what it is, right? If it is not working well, if we don't have the right type of bacteria and all type of bacteria in our body, our gut health cannot stay stable, cannot stay healthy, right? So it is very synonymous. Gut health is very synonymous to great or healthy digestion in a very, very simple language, right? It's not just about our stomach or intestine. It starts from we call it food pipe, right? Esophagus. So we take in food, we keep it on our tongue, and then it goes through the food pipe. So our gut starts from esophagus, go to the stomach, and then in between there are various organs involved, and then it goes to small intestine, large intestine, then rectum. That entire pipe, if I can call it, right? That entire thing in between organs also includes gut.
Okay.
And when we say gut health, it should mean taking care and basically healthy functioning of the entire end-to-end this structure,
Hmm.
right? So this is gut health, right? Now, in terms of what are the problems that can arise if you have unhealthy gut, right? So it basically associates with that where does our gut health um, help? Like, what does this mean? Right? So, I would say, like, if I have to, like, just point few of the top actions of our gut health is, so the first one, I would say mental health. Okay. That is the most critical thing these days. And there is a gut-brain connection. And psychological stress can lead to poor gut health. Poor gut health can also lead to psychological stress. It's a bidirectional link that is there, right? So, impaired gut health can lead to a lot of anxiety, can lead to a lot of induced stress in anybody's body because of serotonin. Serotonin is a happy hormone which is produced. 70% of it is produced in the gut. If gut health is not working fine, that means serotonin production is not happening fine, and that really impacts our mood, right? So that is the top thing that I suggest everybody. The second thing is digestion,
Hmm.
right? So if our gut health is not well or if it is not in balance, then it leads to a lot of digestive disorders like bloating, gassiness, constipation, acidity, and if it gets chronic, then IBS, IBD, GERD, and so on, colitis. Like there is endless list of all the chronic problems. Then I would say skin disorders. So gut health also. So when we say bacteria, bacteria is not just lying around in our intestines. They are also part of our skin, right? If our gut health is not working fine, if there is some imbalance happening, it also reflects on our skin. So people suffer from acne, from eczema, from psoriasis, Like these days, a lot there is a huge surge of inflammatory disorders and all these skin issues, right? Hair loss, for that matter. So all of these are also related to gut health, because gut health also contributes to nutrition absorption.
Got it.
A lot of nutrients are being absorbed in the gut, right? So that brings to my next point, that it can lead to nutrition deficiencies. So as we were talking in the beginning, vitamin D, vitamin B12 are the top ones that we look at, but other nutrients also are being absorbed or synthesized in the gut. Right, so it can lead to nutrition deficiencies, hair loss, early graying of hair, dullness of skin, early aging, marks on our skin, and so on.
Hmm.
Right. Then other problems that you can see is fatigue. That energy levels go down because nutrients are not being absorbed properly. So if nutrients are not being absorbed properly, then our cells are not functioning well. And if cells are not functioning well, from where we will get our energies?
Right.
Right? So that immune function are a lot of endocrine system sits in our gut, right? So sorry, endocrine system is related to hormonal
Yeah.
system. So endocrine, like if your gut health is not working fine, it can also lead to hormonal imbalances. But immune system, definitely, a lot of immune cells are also sitting in our gut. So people, like some people start getting sick very frequently, so that is also related to our gut health. So basically, all diseases start in the gut. It is very well said. Just that we are kind of acknowledging this fact at a widespread scale in current times.
Got it, got it. And to even know that something like pimples on your skin can be a sign of your gut not being healthy is incredible. I mean, you wouldn't think that, right? Uh, what are the common signs and symptoms that people should be on the lookout for when they have an unhealthy gut?
Hmm. Actually, this is very much related to my previous point as well.
Right.
So, like, basically, whatever functions our gut health supports,
Hmm.
any impairment in those functions is what the sign of unhealthy gut, right? So, since you already mentioned pimples, acne, which is a very big concern if it happens for females. So, of course, if acne is happening, see, acne is a very complicated topic.
Yeah.
Okay, it could be related to hormonal problems, which also have their root cause sitting in the gut. But then, there is no 0 to 1 or like a causation type of a relationship here, right? There are various factors which are involved in this. But definitely, if acne is happening, you should definitely see a doctor and look at your gut health. And food and lifestyle should be amongst those top things that you change, along with if any expert tells you to change to take any medication, definitely go for it. But gut health contributes to acne, definitely can be contributing to acne. The next thing is if you're falling sick very frequently.
Hmm.
So, weak immunity, right? So that could be a good sign that you need to take care of your gut. Indigestion. If you're facing gassiness
Hmm.
or heaviness after eating food very frequently, you're feeling constipated very frequently, you have that feeling of incomplete evacuation very frequently, like every morning, just going to toilets like various times in the day. All these things should also be like should not be ignored signs because they are related to gut health going downwards,
Hmm.
right? If you feel fatigue very frequently, if you feel that throughout the day you just don't have any energy to do anything, and you're feeling that lack of energy or sleep is getting compromised, you are not able to sleep properly throughout the day. So that also should give you a signal that you need a check on your gut health. So I would say these are some of the very, very common signals, like early signals
Hmm.
that people start getting. And if you're getting these signals, go and have a check with an expert on your gut health.
Got it, got it. It's very interesting to know all of these symptoms because we have normalized it somehow. So we don't usually go into the depths and then go to the root cause of, okay, this is the problem, right? You did mention about probiotics when you gave an answer earlier. So, what are some probiotics and prebiotics, and what are the benefits of these?
Okay. So let's first talk about what are probiotics and
Mhm.
prebiotics because people get very confused with these two
Right.
terms.
Right.
So, probiotics are live beneficial bacteria itself. Okay. So, when you are having that bowl of curd
Hmm.
or that idli, or I don't know if you have had kanjis. So kanji is a very common thing in the southern part of the country, but it is also a very common probiotic.
Okay.
Kombuchas, like
Okay.
I think very very famous drinks these days, right? So kombucha is another probiotic. So they are live bacteria. They have live bacteria in them.
Okay.
Right, so when you consume them, you are kind of repopulating your gut by some beneficial bacteria and kind of giving some, like adding some additional bacteria in a very natural form,
Mhm.
right? The benefit of this is that you are bringing that balance back. So, see, these days we are talking about consume like XYZ probiotic in a tablet or in a powder or something of that sort. I mean, it's fine if you have diagnosed that that XYZ type of bacteria is missing in your gut or has you have it in less quantity and you are specifically consuming that bacteria. That that tablet is also personalized to you, then it makes sense to consume it in the form of a tablet. But unfortunately, our technology has not yet evolved to that stage, which really tells us that, I mean, this whole microbiome analysis, etc., is still evolving.
Hmm.
It is evolving at a very fast pace, which means it's telling us that what the ideal microbiome of Indian population looks like. And since India is very diverse in itself, every region has a different microbiome because of different cultural ways of eating and everything, right? So we are still evolving on that. And consuming it in form of tablets is not the right way. So hence we suggest everybody to consume it in the natural format where you are getting diversity of bacteria, and that really helps your like reflourishing your gut microbiome, your gut flora, right? So probiotics are that, and they help in bringing that the balance, the required balance. Whereas prebiotic is the food for your bacteria. So
Okay.
you already have a lot of bacteria lying around in your gut, right? If they don't get the sufficient type of the right kind of food, they are going to die, right? They need food, they need fiber. So we need to give that food to our existing bacteria so that they can flourish and they can produce more of those bacteria, right? More of similar kinds of bacteria. So prebiotic is that. Prebiotic is kind of undigestible fiber. So our digestive system can't digest it. That fiber is digested in our intestines, and our bacteria digest it, and they and that is what their food is, right? So very common prebiotic, you can say, all the like high fiber foods, grains, like currently we consume like very low diversity of grains. North Indians consume a lot of wheat, South Indians consume a lot of rice, but we should all have a diversity of grains. Eat a lot of whole grains, millets, and brown rice, which have a lot of fiber in them, right?
Mhm.
So that can give a lot of prebiotics to our gut. Banana has a lot of prebiotic in our gut, right? So, like incorporate all of these things, and that will really be helpful because you have to make the existing bacteria survive.
Hmm.
Otherwise, like what is the point of adding and adding more bacteria when you are not giving food to them? So that's how you have to make a balance between probiotics and prebiotics.
Got it. Are these multigrain breads and multigrain noodles or these stuff that is coming up, are those also prebiotics?
So, to some extent, yes. But I would say that, like, as a thumb rule, stay away from processed foods because these are processed, right?
Got it.
And like, no, I mean, of course, if you have to consume noodles, it's
Mhm.
better to consume a multigrain noodle or a millet noodle than to consume a maida noodle,
Yeah,
right? So, noodle to noodle comparison, yes, very nice. But if you have to make comparison between all kinds of foods that you have, then always choose the fresher foods
got it.
rather than processed ones. So
Understood.
breads, I mean, definitely if you are like differentiating between different breads, definitely a wheat bread or a multigrain bread better. But breads are in general very processed. So
Mhm. Understood. Okay. How can someone address the issue of IBS naturally?
mhm, naturally. Right. So, see, IBS is a chronic problem.
Hmm.
It's an inflammation in the gut, right? And if you are looking to manage it, then I mean, it's very like there is no again thumb rule to this that you do these five things and then your IBS will be managed. It doesn't work like this. It's very personalized. Everybody has different triggers. Different foods are reacting differently with different bodies. So the first thumb rule that we suggest people is start maintaining a diary of foods and start figuring out your trigger foods and like maybe start writing down what you have eaten in the day, how you feel, right? And that is how you figure out that what are the triggers of your IBS, and then start eliminating them. And that should be the first thing. The second thing is if you smoke, if you have caffeine, or if you consume alcohol, remove these. They are poison for you, right? So these are the topmost things that you should do if you have IBS. Start consuming less of oily, fried, outside food, junk food, and all of these. And in general, people with IBS, like they just can't consume these foods because they just create a havoc in their digestive tract. So they just can't do it. Another very, I would say, a common advice that people read on the internet also, that consume a lot of fiber
Hmm.
um, and healthy fat, right? So, but it is easier said than done because see, so it's a double-edged sword when you say fiber, right? Because excess fiber or fiber in the wrong form or fiber in the wrong quantity can lead to constipation as well as a lot of gas production,
Okay.
right? So you have to be extremely conscious with respect to how you are consuming that fiber. But definitely, you have to add fiber to your diet. That will be needed for you to like create. Basically, it will help you in evacuation and emptying your bowels. So that then fruits, definitely you have to consume fruits because they are great prebiotics, give you a lot of fiber and uh, add those nutrients which are not available in regular foods, vegetables, and so on. So definitely include fruits in your diet. So yeah.
Okay, that's interesting to know. You mentioned poison for your gut health. You said alcohol, smoking, all of these are poison. What are some other poisons in foods that people usually consume and they don't even know that these are actually deteriorating the gut health?
Hmm. I think people know, but they still ignore. So you can say because of our lifestyle, because of our taste buds, because all of us want to indulge, right? So that could be the reason. So one is processed foods because you also mentioned about
Right.
some of them.
Right.
So see, some of the processed foods are very outright processed.
Mhm.
It's very visible. to us that, okay, this is processed. But then some of them are not so outright, not in our face processed, right? So definitely keep an eye out on such things, right? So all the dips people use these days, mayonnaise and the chili sauces and in fact ketchups. If you are consuming that tomato ketchup, like I have seen people eating chapatis also with tomato ketchup. So so, so yeah, I mean, there are big fans. I mean, if they are listening to this, they might like kind of unfollow me that I am like asking them to leave their tea, leave their ketchup, and leave whatever they love. But see, tomato ketchup, just imagine that this would have been packed. I don't know, a year back or
Mhm.
so, and then have traveled like at so many places and so on. I mean, like just look at the life that would have been left in that food, right? And so much of processing would have gone. So what kind of like, although it will have some taste enhancers and everything, which will make you feel good and enhance like attack on those parts of your brain which releases some happy hormone, but ultimately it's like it's harming your gut. So not so try to stay away from processed foods as much as possible. Smoking, alcohol, I have already talked about. I think people know that it is harming them, but either it has become an addiction or for some reason people are doing it. So I would say that try to restrict it as much as possible. If you can't get rid of it completely, try to go downwards. If you're consuming, like if you're having 3 cigarettes a day, bring it down to two, then to one, and so on, right? So go slow, but be consistent. Consistency is the key. You should not you should not give shocks to your body. That one day you think that, okay, now I am going to be clean from everything. It doesn't work like that because your body starts craving. And then if you have removed everything which you used to love, and then like you just can't maintain that, you will fall back, right? So avoid that. I would say tea, coffee, very important point. You can consume it, but be very conscious on this that at what time you are consuming and how many cups of tea, coffee you're consuming. Don't over consume it. It's fine to be consuming 1 cup, 2 cups, small cups of tea, coffee, but avoid them in empty stomach.
Okay.
Don't consume it to fill your stomach because it is going to hamper your nutrient absorption. Um, and like some people consume it in the evening and then don't feel hungry for their dinners and
Mm.
then get late for dinner. So that is because that it is just creating a lot of gas and bloating in our stomachs, which lead to like the delaying of consumption of dinner and then also interfere with nutrient absorption. So avoid tea, coffee as much as possible. So I feel that these are the like very common poisons in every bit like in modern lifestyle. Try to avoid them as much as possible.
Got it. I read somewhere, actually, I heard it on Instagram, that black coffee is one of the healthiest, like it's the healthiest kind of coffee that you can have. How true is
Hmm.
that? I just want to know for my personal.
So I won't say healthiest, but
Hmm.
I would say like see, two things to it. One is don't consume it, the first thing.
Yeah.
Again, I would say because it's very acidic.
Hmm.
And if you are our gut environment, the healthy gut environment should be alkaline, right? So if you consume a very heavy acidic thing in the morning, first thing, then you are setting yourself up in a very acidic environment,
Okay.
right? And then it will just be like, and if you're prone to that, if you
Hmm.
consume spicy foods, if you live in a very hot environment, this is only going to increase and like it is just going to create a lot of discomfort in your day. So one thing is don't consume it in the day. Sorry, in the first thing in the morning. Second thing I would say, that probably it is said it is healthier because it does not have milk in it.
Okay.
Milk makes it very heavy to digest, right? And if you are, and you can actually try for yourself. Try have coffee, maybe a cappuccino or like a latte, and versus try to have just Americano.
Hmm.
You feel that you like your gut has less amount of work to do if you are consuming an Americano,
Yeah.
right? And also just having that hit that caffeine gives,
Hmm.
and not having that entire thing of breaking down milk and so on, and interfering with our digestion and so on. So it's definitely lighter. And these days, I'm not sure if you have heard about adding some MCTs to your coffee, some like adding butter or ghee or coconut oil
Yes,
to
I
your
have.
coffee,
Yeah.
because that suddenly, so that greasiness in the
Hmm.
coffee you can add through MCT oil, and that really helps in triggering your mind functioning. So if it works for you, you can try that also. I mean, research about MCTs. It will be like very, there is an MCT oil specifically available for coffee that you can mix in your, like in your black coffee Americano, or you can add coconut oil for that matter, because that MCT is extracted from coconut oil itself, coconut butter, if you can find it, right? Otherwise, coconut oil also works. But be very conscious with respect to how much you're adding it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that can be helpful because that suddenly adds some healthy fat to the
Got
coffee,
it. Got it.
right? And when you are adding healthy fat to your coffee, it makes it more healthier for your gut to take in, because
Hmm.
suddenly you have reduced the acidity.
Understood.
So, so yeah.
Okay. Thanks for the. Okay, now coming to gut health, like one of the last questions that I have for that is how dangerous is deteriorating gut health? Like you've spoken about what are the problems that are related to it, but just what is the worst case scenario of deteriorating gut health?
Hmm. So, since there are various diseases that you can build because of impaired gut health. So I would say the worst case here is building those diseases.
Okay.
So diabetes, obesity, fatty liver. Like, these are also lifestyle concerns. People don't really correlate them to gut health, but
Hmm.
they are the like for them also the root cause is poor metabolism, which sits in our gut, right? So like, and these are chronic, and I mean they are life threatening if you leave them uncured, right? So it's they are pretty harmful. Then there are some chronic, very harmful gut diseases like IBD, colitis, Crohn disorder, then several mental health challenges.
Hmm.
People get into those psychosomatic problems in which they are just not able to figure out that the problem is their psychological stress, or it is their physical stress, right? And they just get extremely, I mean, we have worked with such people also, in which we have suggested them to like work with us as well as a therapist, right? Because no one person can help you here, because the problem has become like slightly severe and now it has turned into a psychosomatic problem.
Oh.
So yes, I would say these are the worst case scenarios. So it's better to always listen to your body, the early signals of these skin problems, the hair problems, energy, fatigue, digestion issues, to kind of prevent yourself from those chronic problems, which can be life-threatening also.
Got it. Got it. Coming to the concept of Ayurveda, Uh, do the Ayurvedic concepts of doshas and nutrition align?
They do. they do pretty well actually. So it basically it's pretty interesting when we were doing our research in this space, and I have been reading in this space, self-learned for last, I would say, 7 to 8 years now. And I came across Ayurvedic food principles and so on, and it has been very exciting for me that I have only heard about modern nutrition science because that has been the most easily available
Mm.
thing, most well researched, and everything. Ayurvedic food concepts, they have been there in our all of our kitchens. We do follow them in our kitchens on our daily basis, just that we don't attach a meaning to it, right? So they are like very much correlated when you start going deep inside it. So doshas, so there are three doshas: Vat, Pitta, Kapha,
Yeah.
right? And they are basically the body mind constitutions. So they are like energies in our body, and all of us have a unique combination of these three doshas, which
Okay.
makes us unique, right? So the way Ayurveda works is the way Ayurvedic food principles work is that they always say that personalize your diet as per your prakriti, as per your this mind body constitution type, right? Now, this is a very, very interesting concept that if you have a pitta dominance, and then pitta dominance, maybe like two pitta dominant people might be different in itself, because the constitution could be varying, right? So you have to first
Mm.
understand that constitution and then basically plan it. So this basically means that there is no one size fit all food or meal plan that exists for these two people or any two people, right? So you have to first understand your mind body type and then
Mm.
accordingly plan your routine, your food, your lifestyle, and so on. So in that matter, both nutrition science as well as Ayurvedic science, Ayurvedic food concepts are very holistic in nature. They take into consideration your body, your mind, your environment in which you are placed, right? And then accordingly customize your lifestyle and your food. So yes, like we definitely feel that they are very, very much correlated with each other.
Okay. Could you just tell me if someone has a pitta dominant kind of an Ayurvedic dosha, then what can they do? Similarly, just give me like one for each if possible.
Hmm. So I am not an Ayurvedic doctor, so I might not be the best person for this. But in general, I would like whatever I've seen our team like doing going about this is. So if you have Pitta dominant, so you have to first understand what is Pitta, right? So Pitta means Pith denotes to the digestive fire, right? All the fire in our body,
Mm.
right? So, like it is very much correlated to our digestion. So, if you have pith dominance, avoid spices, at least the chilies and the red chili and the green chili, anything which increases fire in you. You should definitely look to reduce that. You should consume foods which cool you down,
Got it.
right? Try to stay inside when there is heat,
Mm.
a lot of heat in the environment, right? And generally, summertime can be pretty like discomforting for pith dominant folks, right? They might get a lot of anger in them and so on. So, so these things a pith dominant person can do. Vat denotes movement.
Okay.
It's so you have to see it from energy terms that
Mm.
these three doshas are equivalent to different energies in our body and
Okay.
environment. So all kinds of movements which is happening in our body. So bones are hollow. There is an air movement happening. Blood is flowing. There is a movement happening, right? Energy also flows here and there, right? So all the movement is correlated to Vata energy. So if you have Vata unbalanced and so on, so a very easy way to figure that out is that you would see a lot of dreams. Your sleep gets very erratic. you would see that you're not able to sleep well, or you might feel constipation because, again, movement, right? It's movement of your bowels,
Hmm.
movement within your bowels, movement of excreta, and so on. So, if it's an imbalance, vata imbalance, you can lead to a lot of constipation,
Okay.
lot of gassiness in the body. Again, vat imbalance, right? A lot of movement or the production of gas. So, in order to in order to have a control on your vat, take anything which calms you down, which kind of brings you down to earth, right?
Okay.
Ghee, a very because it's very lubricant, it's very grounding in nature.
Hmm.
So consume, so like we suggest our clients and our users that if they have a lot of constipation, if they feel a lot of anxiety and nothing is working, we sometimes ask them to consume some ghee in the morning because that brings a lot of grounding in
Okay.
them, in their bodies, right? So it can be pretty nice for Vat imbalanced folks. Coming to Kapha, right? Kapha energy is related to a lot of, so the bulk in the body. So Kapha is synonymous to stability. So the bulk in the body, the muscles, the fat, some people are very lazy, extremely lazy, right? All of that, some people are obese, right? So all of that is an imbalance of kapha.
Okay.
It is over kapha energy in them. That's why they don't want to get up, they don't want to move, they don't have energy, they don't feel energetic, they have a lot of fat accumulation in their body, and so on. So that is kapha energy imbalance in them. So some people, yeah. So if anybody gets aware that their kapha is getting imbalanced or they have a predominant kapha, so try to avoid a lot of fatty things, fried foods, or like good fat is good, right? But all the bad foods, outside junk, and all of that. So that can lead to an imbalance of kapha. So,
Okay. Thank you so much for giving us such insightful answers for the Ayurvedic dosha specifically.
mhm.
So you did say that poor gut health leads to lack in absorption, like nutrient absorption. To fix this, are the supplements that are readily available in the market, are they beneficial? What is something that one can consume from what's available in the market, and what should one avoid?
So, yes, I agree. There are a lot of supplements which are available in the market. See, I mean, Lavi philosophy is that no supplements should be consumed lightly or without the guidance of an expert, right? Because, see, what are supplements? Supplements are kind of isolating some of the nutrients and then giving those isolated nutrients and just putting in a capsule and then you consuming that capsule.
Hmm. Hmm.
You may or may not need that much quantity of isolated that particular nutrient. Plus, nutrient combinations also play a major role,
Hmm.
right? How you are consuming that particular nutrient. So sometimes you have to consume supplements because you are extremely low on some nutrient, etc. That is absolutely fine, but that is only fine if your health expert is telling you to do so.
Okay.
Don't take your own don't do your own guesswork with supplements, with just putting a pill in your mouth, because that might create like some other kinds of problems that you might not have foreseen. So that is first thing first, right? Now, with respect to what you can consume, I don't think there is any supplement that you should be consuming very lightly. There are various protein powders, then iron supplements, calcium supplements, etc., which are available in the market. I mean, protein powders still okay because they are like whey proteins, still all right, but uh, like don't become a person who's trying to feed the entire protein intake of the day, which is whatever 50, 60 grams through through that protein powder, right? Maybe consume like a single scoop, which gives you 20-25 grams of protein. That is still okay. But try to consume protein and like fulfill your protein needs through natural foods
Oh,
rather than consuming it through supplements. And for other kinds of supplements, iron, calcium, D, B12, etc., always consult your health expert and then consume any supplement.
got it. Understood. Coming to your journey, you were diagnosed with PCOD at 21, and it must have been an incredibly difficult journey. Could you share your experience of how you managed your gut health, your skin health, and weight issues that are so attached with PCOD in general?
Yeah. So, I mean, I was diagnosed with PCOD when I didn't even know about this word. What this is all about, I like for me, it started with irregular periods.
Got it.
I told my mom, I come from a very like tier two place. Like people are very shy there and they don't talk about these problems so openly and so on. So I just told my mom that this is what is happening, and then she just took me to to her gynae that you should go for an ultrasound and do XYZ thing checked, right? And then she tells that, okay, like if I remember correctly, it's pretty long back. She told me that there is some problem with the ovaries and so on, and it is PCOD. I was like, what is this PCOD? I just don't know. She gave me some medicine. We came back, we didn't discuss, and like I just started taking those medications, and honestly didn't think much about it
Hmm.
till the point it started coming on my skin as acne, right? That then it became physical. Then it became very public that now something is on my skin and I am being like in my early 20s, of course, very much concerned about my skin, very much concerned about my looks and so on. Right. So that was the point when I actually became conscious about it, that something is happening. But still, I didn't think about, or I didn't get like even think about getting a cure for PCOD. I was visiting all the skin doctors, dermatologists, you name it, I would have gotten that treatment done. All the international like acne treatments that I could found, all the like all kinds of advices that I got from anybody out there, right? Be it an auntie, be it some relative, be it a doctor, anybody. I just got that thing done, but never ever thought that it could be related to my gut or it could be like PCOD that is causing it. For me, it was a skin problem.
Hmm.
That's it, right? And that was like all my early 20s, I would say till mid 20. Next 4 or 5 years, I was just dealing with my skin problems. And I did so much on my skin that it aggravated massively. And my entire, and some like a doctor told me that now it has become rosacea.
Oh.
So it has aggravated that much because I've been consuming a lot of medications. Also, there is a lot of heat produced in the body, and it turned into rosacea. Rosacea is a chronic inflammation that happens on your skin, and it is very difficult to cure. And I was continuously researching on the internet that what is rosacea, and I was only getting depressed that it cannot be treated. It just cannot go, right? So that was my till like till 25, I would say till 25, 26. In the meantime, I found my partner. He is a very nice person. He always like he never bothered by my skin, by my acne, which is like which makes him extremely humble and polite person. And he was the one who always told me that why do you worry so much? I mean, you should leave it the way it
Hmm.
is.
Hmm.
And I heard the advice, but quite late. And then then I was so fed up. I was like, okay, let's leave it. I just can't. It's not working, right? It's not getting any better. So let's leave it. So that was the point. I was also preparing for my GMAT. for my MBA. So I think it just gave me a good break of 2 years that I invested myself in GMAT. I kind of logged myself in a room, just studying, not caring about my face, my acne, not meeting anybody, and so on. So that really helped. That changed the course of my life, I would say. So that was the point. I got introduced myself to like the food and nutrition world, which
Okay.
contributes to all these problems.
Mm.
Right? By that time, I didn't even think about it. I didn't even thought that okay, it could be like my poor food lifestyle. Like I have always been a very active person. My lifestyle had no problem, but I had a lot of stress in my life. So that could be one of the triggers. Right. So that I started researching about it. That was my, I would say I would have been 25 years old when I
Mm.
started myself into this and gotten very excited. Various revelations happened in my life with respect to my own food, diet, nutrition, and so on. First, I researched by myself, tried certain things. Then I also consulted several folks, several experts to basically see that how can I improve this, if I can gather a lot of insights and so on. It slowly started getting better. Then I moved to London for my MBA, and there I got exposed to all this gut health experts, all the researchers that were coming out. And then another revelation happens in my life that, oh, you know what, this it's not just about nutrition, it's not just about those macro micro balancing,
Mm.
it's also related to your gut health. And then this whole like kind of that space opens up for me, for like which really intrigued me because I was dealing with my own problems, like and then was able to attach those problems to my
Mm.
personal concerns. So COVID happened while during my MBA. So I had a lot of time on my hands to basically do all of this. So was just researching, trying new things on myself, talking to experts, going through research papers, doing XYZ courses and whatnot. So gotten myself deep into this gut health space, and yeah, and then like joined a regular job also. I was employed with Amazon London before this, so
Okay.
regular job I was doing, but at the same time, I mean, this is a topic which intrigues me, and this is a topic which solves my own problems, right? So
Mm.
I was continuously doing it, and then 2021. After almost 10 years of
Mm.
the work, I got an ultrasound done. I think it was a regular checkup that I went for. And I discovered that my PCOD is now gone. My skin was any which ways getting better.
Mm.
My
Mm.
skin had no concerns by this time, no acne, no rosacea, nothing. Like my
Which was
skin,
uncurable at one point. It was told
exactly.
to you that it cannot be cured.
Yes, like everybody told me, you cannot cure rosacea.
Mm.
And it was that bad. Like my entire like forehead, my cheeks used to be so red. I used to be so embarrassed to meet anybody, to even go out of my house. Even people who used to come to my house, I just couldn't like feel like meeting them. I
Mm.
used to have my hair like always covering my like my cheeks and my forehead. I got a specific kind of haircut done to basically hide my acne, and like oh my God, it was such a stressful time. But yeah, 2021 I got it cured. No medicine for at that time for last 6 years, no medicine, only food and nutrition, taking care of myself, understanding the triggers, removing those triggers, and managing it, right?
Mm.
So yeah, so that was my journey of curing my own PCOD. And when the time came, I was any which ways so interested and so intrigued in this space that when the time came to start something of my own, it was a very obvious choice that I want to help other folks also who are struggling. Some can directly correlate their problems to gut health problems, but some cannot. right? For example, PCOD, you can never think that it could be originated from gut health problems.
Yeah.
You always think that it's hormonal,
Yeah.
right? So, although it is hormonal, definitely there are various kinds of PCOD, PCOS. PCOD, I had PCOD, but some people have PCOS
Mm.
also. So there could be various types of reasons attached to it. But whatever the reasons are, your food nutrition should always be a part of your treatment.
Got it, got it. And from your story, it seems like it's a very integral, like the core part. Like if you have this sorted, then most of your problems will kind of go away if you just focus on your nutrition a bit more.
Absolutely. I mean, that is the core part of our body,
Yeah, yeah,
right? You just can't ignore it.
yeah, absolutely. Uh, can bad gut health be linked to stomach cancer?
So, stomach is definitely part of your gut.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, and it could be one of the problems of poor gut health. But there are various other factors also attached to it. You can't say that if you have a bad gut health, you would sure shot get the cancer. It doesn't work like this, right? There are various other factors which are involved in basically getting a cancer. So
Okay. But it could be one of the causes, right? It could be
absolutely.
that.
Poor gut health, definitely. I mean, see, cancer is accumulation of the deadly cells together, the bad cells together, right? So
Mm.
if like something might be happening, inflammation, chronic inflammation might be happening, although I am not a doctor, not would not be the right person to comment on such a deadly disease. But I like if we just talk in a very like layman term and in a very logical manner.
Mm.
So cancer is kind of correlated to something. It just can't happen just like that,
Mm.
right? Something must be going on. Something must be happening wrong in your
Mm.
body, in that part of your body. And then only a cancer has come into effect,
Mm.
right? So, definitely, if your gut health is not working fine,
Mm.
I encourage everybody to not ignore the early symptoms because you might start ignoring it to save some time, but that small, like if you had taken care of it in the early times, you would have saved a lot of your time that you would any which ways spend later on because it's not going to cure itself.
Got it. Got it.
Right. So always like look at your early symptoms and avoid any kind of chronic problem or any possibility of getting any deadly disease later on.
Got it. Absolutely. Uh, Coming to weight loss. So many people usually join nutrition plans or diet plans to their main focus is losing weight in a healthy way. There are so many diets also available. There's keto diet, there's mono diet, there's detox diet. What, in your opinion, are the top three diets that someone should follow to lose weight? Of course, it depends on the individual.
So I was saying that there is no one diet uh, that fits all. Okay, I think we are going back to our initial from where we started. So there is no one diet that we can recommend, and that I can say that okay, you follow this and you will start you will start seeing the benefit. So, but I definitely tell people that go to the root cause of the problem, right? Diet is definitely a part of it. The root cause with respect to
Hmm.
weight gain should not be seen as the fat accumulation or overeating or like some people say that like I don't even eat anything, but even then I just keep on gaining weight. I don't know what is happening. Whereas the other person who's eating like anything, that person don't even gather any weight, right? Why this is happening? So it's all related to metabolism,
Hmm.
right? So your metabolism is the core intelligence of your body.
Hmm.
which is kind of breaking down food, taking nutrition from it, passing the waste food through your body and helping with the excretion, right? And also involved in the fat metabolism, and also involved in the distribution of the fat at the right places, because
Hmm.
our body will is going to store fat. That is how our bodies have evolved, right? When we were hunter gatherers, that time we have learned to store fat so that we can use that as an energy when we don't get food. Now what is happening is that yes, we are storing fat, being like having that hunter gatherer mindset, but at the same time we are continuously consuming food,
Hmm.
right? So there is no dearth of food nowadays,
Hmm.
and you top it up with sedentary lifestyle. So,
Hmm.
which means that the calorie usage is nothing kind of, whereas fat storage is there, because that is how our body function, our mind function to store fat. And also we are continuously eating.
Hmm.
Either we are snacking in between, our meals are also unbalanced on nutrients, or very heavy on carbs, or very heavy on oily foods, and so on, right? We are not really consuming, vegetarians don't consume a lot of protein. Non-vegetarians, like these days, you can't trust that meat also that you are eating, right? So, like, there are so many factors attached here. So, like, there is no one meal plan that you can follow to basically look after your weight. What your ground rule or your thumb rule should be that, you know what, I have to work on my metabolism.
Hmm.
Let's first figure out that what are the hampering reasons of my metabolism, right? Break it down, break down your lifestyle, break down your food. Best would be to work with an expert, because that will be quicker for you.
Yeah.
That will help, like, remove all that guesswork. But even if you don't want to work with an expert, or maybe want to try by yourself, then like sit down and then think about what could be the metabolism, like those things which are making your metabolism sluggish, and correct those things. Like,
Got.
start balancing your diet, start balancing each and every plate that you consume,
Hmm.
like sufficient amount of fiber, carbs, fat, good fat, as well as protein. So don't follow any one particular diet, because see, these diets, what they are doing is that they're depriving you of some or the other nutrient, which is an extremely critical nutrient. I am not a fan of keto, by the way, right? I feel that keto unnecessarily, uh, uh, like, I would say, criminalize carbs, right? It removes carbs completely, and carbs are important for your body,
Hmm.
right? Like, you have to, like, if you have to do something about carbs, then replace your simple carbs with complex carbs, because they add a lot of fiber to your diet. They add a lot of prebiotics to your diet. If you remove carbs from your diet, then how will you basically fill in that particular nutrient in your diet? You just can't live on protein and fat, right? It will create a lot of problems in your gut. So I am not really a fan of any of these particular diets. Then detox, you mentioned, right? So detox should be a very limited time period diet that
Okay.
you are doing for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. You're giving yourself a break, not consuming heavy foods and so on. But you cannot be on detox diet forever,
Hmm.
right? And you need to know that how you go into detox and how you come out of detox, so that you don't end up shocking your body,
Hmm.
right? So, like, there is no one diet. Any diet which you are able to follow consistently, which balances your food and also make you feel fulfilled,
Hmm.
is a good diet,
Got it.
right? And that is what you should be thinking about when you are looking at any problem, be it weight loss or weight gain or gut health improvement.
Got it. Got it. You did briefly mention about the nutritious meal that you should be having. Like the plate should be filled with everything. So could you just tell us what's the ideal plate of a nutritious meal that a normal person should be having on a daily basis?
Hmm. Okay, so basically it's like one third, one third, one third,
Mhm.
right? One third protein, one third carbs, one third fiber, and also have fat, top it up with some good fat, like add some ghee, add some avocado, add some nuts to it. So that can really make your like balance your plate. So it should be like as simple as that.
Okay, perfect. Can we quickly touch upon the topic of stress and gut health? Because you also mentioned that gut health has a direct relation to mental health. So, can we just like talk about that for a bit? How does stress affect your gut health?
Yeah. So there is a bi-directional relationship between our gut and our brain,
Mm.
right? So psychological stress, which originates in our brain, that could hamper our gut health. That could be a very strong trigger for the indigestion problems and all the gut health issues, and also vice versa as well, right? Our gut issues, the indigestion problems, chronic constipation, bloating, gas, can also lead to us feeling stressed out,
Mm.
not feeling happy, feeling a lot of anxiety, and so on. So it's like, so stress is in general considered as a poison for your gut health, right? If you are facing stress,
Mm.
and you're not able to figure out that is this psychological stress, because some people say that I just don't have any stress. Like, why am I feeling stressed altogether, right? My work is fine. There is no like so much of work stress involved. My family is very stable. Like I don't have any personal level of stress, but I just feel I don't feel happy. What is happening, right? So sometimes those kinds of situations can happen. So we always suggest like that when you are facing gut health issues, stress can be a byproduct of it.
Okay.
And whenever you're working on your gut health, the most efficient way of doing it is that you incorporate some mindfulness activities also alongside. Meditation, very helpful. Yoga, exercise for that matter, because when you are exercising, you're running, you're swimming, you're gymming, whatever you're doing, that releases some happy hormones
Mm.
in your body. So that can be super helpful when you're working on your overall food and nutrition and correcting your lifestyle and everything. So both stress management and gut health management has to go hand in hand. That is generally the most efficient way of dealing with it.
Got
So
it.
so yeah, always like stay away from stress. As they say, right? हिंदी में वो saying है ना कि चिंता चिता के समान होती है.
Hmm.
So like it is actually very, very true. So
Yeah.
stay away from stress.
Yeah, from stress. Last question. Our podcast is called The Good Life Guide. So we need a tip of the day for someone who's seeking the good life for happiness and peace of mind.
Yeah. So I would end with some mindfulness actually, since like very much correlated to our last question. So take time to be mindful in the day, right? Be it in form of meditation, spending 10 minutes in the morning to be mindful about your surroundings, about being grateful about your life.
Mm.
Spend some time exercising, move consciously, because that is the time when you're consciously moving. So do some kind of exercise or some kind of activity on a daily level. And also be mindful while you are eating. So these days, all of us have very less time to devote on us. We are devoting the entire time that whatever we have, trying to at least on our work.
Mm.
Whatever we have in free, we are either scrolling our screens on Instagram or we are watching Netflix. But we are not really being concerned with how we are eating. Are we consuming food in the right environment, or are we consuming it mindfully? Right? Are we even acknowledging the taste of the food, the different flavors that different veggies have, and being mindful of when our body is saying that, okay, I'm full, you can leave it now, right? So be mindful of at the time when you are eating food. Try to eat not in front of television, I repeat. So, because like, although it's a very difficult thing to do because of our lifestyle these days, because that is the only time we get to watch television also. So, and have a chilled out time. But try if you can, like if not every day, maybe few days in a week's time, that try not to eat in front of television. Take out 15 minutes, eat food, and then watch your television. Right. So I would just encourage everyone to be mindful for the sake of your own gut health and your mental health, because these are the two most precious things that you have got in your life.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Surbhi, for doing this with us. And thank you for
Thank
being
you.
on the Good Life Guide podcast.
Thank you so much. Thanks for inviting me, and it was a very lovely conversation with you, Dhiraj.
Same here.
Thanks.